Hello everyone and welcome back to another session of Dark Souls 3 PvP and another weapon showcase. This time I am using the Pro Quills, which I think is one of the more unique weapons from the DLC. And saying that, it sounds kind of strange considering that this is a thrusting sword class weapon. However, with its unique moveset, it has a lot that it can offer, and because of that, I like it a lot. It's a really fun weapon to use. So, getting started with the basics of the weapon, it requires 9 strength and 16 dexterity in order to wield. It has an E scaling in strength and a B scaling in dexterity. Its physical base damage is 196, and when this weapon is actually infused with Sharp, its physical base damage drops down to 181, but it gains an S scaling in dexterity, so that's a very large bonus. So definitely, if you're using the weapon, keep that infusion in mind, because it will benefit you to an insane degree. So, moving on from here, the biggest pro of the weapon. It is without a doubt going to be the fact that it has such a unique moveset. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. With this weapon, you have so many unique attacks. Not only do you have your unique skill, you have a follow-up to it by pressing your R2. That'll do a stronger thrust that's slightly delayed. If you do an R1 and then an L2, you have a unique attack. If you do 2 R1s and then an L2, you have another unique attack. You have your unique running L1 where you jump into the air and stab your sword down onto the person, which actually gives you a surprising amount of hyper armor. And if that's your first hit on someone, it gives you the ability to get a guaranteed second hit. And it just works extremely well. This weapon has a lot of really good stuff going for it. So with those attacks, there's so many different timings, so many different speeds, so many different distances that you can actually cover with them, that in a way it can actually make the weapon a bit more of a challenge to use than you would expect. It's got a lot going for it, but at times it can be a little bit hard to get used to, a little bit overbearing, and confusing in all honesty. So this weapon requires a little bit of practice, and you need to actually really pay attention when you're using it. Otherwise you'll forget where you are in your combos, stuff like that, and that will end badly. So that's one of the things with the weapon that in a way could actually be considered a con, but I'm going to say that it's still a pro because of how unique the moveset is and how much you can do with it. Other pros of the weapon, of course, would be the fact that it does work with the Leo Ring very well. In fact, the Quill Dart skill will work with the Leo Ring incredibly well. A lot of people complain its damage output is pretty low, but if you actually hit with those as a counterattack, it's relatively easy to hit over 130, 140 damage. And in some instances in the video, I actually hit over 200 damage with the weapon's skill. And that doesn't sound spectacular, I know, but compared to what people are saying of how it always will hit 30 damage no matter what, even if you hit them dead on, not quite accurate in all honesty. You have to use it at the proper time, whether that's as a counter hit or not. That all depends. Even if you don't get a counter hit with it, you can still benefit a lot from using that attack because it will stagger your opponent, and you can use that to follow it up into the unique R2. Either way, it still works to benefit you, it's just not an immediate benefit, and I understand people like that with their weapon arts, it makes sense. However, sometimes it's more of setting up the next move than getting all the damage all at once, you know? But other than that, pros of the weapon, haven't gotten to the cons yet. Other pros of the weapon would be the Leo Ring, like I said, how fast the weapon is, and with that speed, I'm talking about not only your attack speed for the sake of R1 spam, but how quickly you can move in and out with it. The fact that you can go in, do a poke, do the backstep slash sort of thing, and get out of there really quickly. And then on top of that, if you need to keep your distance going back even farther, throw the Quill Darts, you'll be moved back farther, you're out of range from most things at that point. So there are some definite benefits to the weapon, but as far as the cons, there are some major issues with the weapon. First and foremost, the damage output on attacks is not overly spectacular. Second, its hyper armor, it's got good hyper armor on basically one attack, being the running L1, but other than that, it's severely lacking, and you can really get into some big trouble with this weapon if anyone tries to go for a hit trade. It does not work well, so be careful with that. especially because it does work with the Leo Ring. A lot of people will be wanting to go to, do hit trades. Don't do it. Just do yourself that favor. It will not work well. It does not work well at all. And because it doesn't have the longest range for its class, again, you can't outrange someone and get a counter hit like that very easily. So again, be careful. But otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. The only things with it are that it can be slightly confusing at times due to how much the moveset has to it, and its damage output isn't all that spectacular, but the speed and the variety of attacks you can do help sort of mitigate that. So overall, I think it's a pretty great weapon. I like it a lot. I'm expecting that we'll see a lot of this weapon, and it is what it is, guys. Either way, though, I hope you all enjoyed the video, found it helpful in one way or another. Please like, subscribe, and all of that good stuff, and I will see you all next time.